Welcome to the Chicago Bar Association's Justice and Law Weekly. I'm Aurora Austriaco, president of the Chicago Bar Association. Just the Beginning Foundation has its roots in Chicago and will be celebrating its 20th anniversary this fall with an outstanding conference entitled Reaching Back, Lifting Up. Just the Beginning Foundation was founded in Chicago in 1992. As part of its mission to increase diversity within America's legal profession, it offers pipeline programs to encourage and inspire young students to pursue careers in the law. My distinguished guests today are Seventh Circuit United States Court of Appeals Judge Ann Claire Williams, who is one of the co-founders of Just the Beginning Foundation and currently chair of the Foundation's Judicial Advisory Committee, and LaShonda Hunt, who serves as a board member and chairs youth programming for the Foundation. Ms. Hunt is also a lawyer for the federal government. Welcome, Judge Williams and Ms. Hunt.
Thank you. Pleased to be here this morning.
Well, I know you've got a very busy schedule, so it's really a pleasure having you here and having you, Ms. Hunt, here at the program. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you, Judge Williams, for the Just the Beginning Foundation celebrating its 20 years. How does it feel to finally see a program that you started 20 years ago celebrating its 20th year?
Well, one thing, it makes me feel more experienced in life, but what it does is it's the coalition, it's all the people who have gathered together to make the programs have meaning. Right. And that term, Just the Beginning Foundation, was actually a quote from President Jimmy Carter, because he had appointed more women and more judges of color than any president combined during that 4 years he was president. And he was asked about that. And he said, yes, progress has been made, but it's just a beginning. So when we had our first conference, we used the president's words, just a beginning, and we used it. It started as a celebration of the anniversary of Jim Parsons, who was the first African-American district court judge appointed in the country in 1961. He was modest and shy, didn't want a dinner in his honor, but agreed that it could be a celebration of the integration of the federal bench. We had that weekend celebration. It was so successful, we created the foundation. And so it is, with great joy I'm feeling on the 20th anniversary of the foundation.
It's like your baby going up,
it is like
right?
my baby going up. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's right. Now, Judge Williams, the foundation, what is its mission statement? What is the main goal?
The main goal is to inspire and to train students of color and students from other underrepresented groups to consider careers in law.
Right.
The numbers are not great. I think maybe 11% of the bench of the bar is lawyers of color. Right. And we wanted to, in doing these gatherings, we were learning the history of the judges. And we learned that many of the judges were first-generation college, first-generation law students, like many of the students of color in our community. So we wanted to develop programs that would let them see there was another way. That you didn't just have to be a basketball star, or, right, you didn't have to be a rapper. You didn't have to, that there were other ways that you could achieve, and that we had extraordinary role models. So initially we started by doing exhibits at the Harold Washington Library and at a couple libraries, and getting judges and lawyers to do tours. And then we realized that we needed to have something more formal. And so with the help of a grant from the Law School Admissions Council, we created a curriculum with the Chicago Public Schools. We created a CD that was out of date the day it was printed. And then we realized we needed to control the programming. Right. And that led to LaShonda Hunt and the creation of our first Summer Legal Institute. And now we have Summer Legal Institutes for middle school, high school. We partner with programs that focus on college students. We have programs for law students that intern in the chambers of federal judges. We have a program for students of color for clerkships. We've placed over 100 students in federal clerkships. And this is the second year of our summer internship program. We have 65 diverse kids in the chambers of federal judges across the country. And we also formed a partnership with all of the law schools here in Chicago, the Consortium on Diversity, and we now have a Jump Start program that helps students when they're admitted to law school, a 3-day program that helps them have a jump start on law school so they can have greater success, get better grades, they can be more successful lawyers and hopefully become clerks. But LaShonda can tell you about the high school program.
Which is a great segue to LaShonda. Why don't you tell us about the program?
I sure can. So back in 2006, I took a break from the practice of law and joined the staff of Just the Beginning Foundation as a project director. And we were in a position where the foundation was looking to expand our reach. And so we decided to develop a summer legal institute. And part of what we have to do is first and foremost just expose kids to the legal profession. I mean, they see it on TV, but they don't really know what does it take to become a lawyer, and more importantly, can I do that? And so we wanted to create a model that would be replicated around the country where they'd have an opportunity to go to a law school in a legal setting, go visit law firms, go meet federal judges, engage in critical thinking exercises, do what lawyers do every day, meet lawyers, hear lawyers' stories, so that they would first be exposed and then inspired to consider a legal career. And so we developed the Summer Legal Institute in Chicago. We started with 35 students, and it was a 5-day program. Today, it's in 7 cities. We are serving how many students, Judge?
Over 700 students between our summer programs, our college programs, a law student overall.
Right.
And because in addition to doing the summer programs every summer, we do programming throughout the year.
During the school year for our JTBF scholars. And so we really, from that, sort of small seed that we developed, we now have a middle school camp that's run in Chicago. We have over 80 kids who participated in that. We have an advanced summer legal institute for JTBF scholars who have already been a part of our programs but want to learn a little bit more, go deeper. And so it has really taken off and developed that one seed. We are planting seeds everywhere, and that's really how we are furthering our mission.
And one of the things I think that's critical, because of course, students need to know in high school what kind of courses should I be taking. And so when they come to the Summer Legal Institute, they have to bring their personal essay for college. It is mandatory that an adult, a parent, a grandmother, foster parent, someone come with them, because we do a seminar for parents on financing and education. They do a college tour. They learn networking skills. We create things and opportunities for them to actually present themselves as a professional would do. They have to apply online. There's an application. They need a reference from a teacher. We need to see their grades, and we do an actual oral interview by phone to get them again in the mode of being a professional. And in the advanced program, they actually shadow judges for a couple days and do 2 days of intense research on college admissions. So the latest thing we've done is a partnership with the Illinois State Bar Association, because our camps are typically day camps, but that was an overnight camp that also focused on leadership. So as LaShonda said, these are models that can be replicated around the country. And in Washington, D.C., for the second year, our middle school program went to the Supreme Court. This year they met with Justice Kagan. The year before was Justice Alito. I mean, it is an extraordinary thing to take 35 middle schoolers and they actually have an opportunity to speak with a justice.
I mean, where did they get the experience? That experience particularly to meet with a Supreme Court justice. Now, you mentioned you're in several states. What states are you in with the program? And second part of that is, do you envision that it will expand to every state in the country?
Well, we're in Washington, D.C. now. It's the 3rd summer for Washington. We're in Indianapolis and Minnesota. I think the 4th summers for those, 3rd or 4th summers. We're in Detroit with a partnership with Cooley Law School. We're in New Orleans with a partnership with the New Orleans Bar Association. I mentioned the Illinois State Bar Association here. In Piney Woods, Mississippi,
Yes.
we have a partnership with a historically black high school, middle school, private school, where we run programming throughout the year. Yes, and the idea would be to expand to every state.
Right.
Because students need this kind of exposure. They need to know that they can. And LaShonda mentioned that the judges meet. We always have judges as a vital part of the program,
Right.
who talk about their struggles, who say, you know, we were not born with a black robe. We were not born with a gavel.
Right.
We understand your struggles, and you too can do this.
Right. Right.
Right. And one of the points I want to sort of emphasize that Judge talked about is the partnership.
Right.
We really rely on our partners, law schools, law firms, corporations, individuals. Those are the people who put the time and the effort and the resources into the kids. We cannot do it all ourselves. We have a small staff, and they do an amazing job of running these programs, but there is no way that we could accomplish what we accomplish if we did not have partners.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, CBA, Chicago Bar, should be a
It
partner.
is
on that
a
one,
partner,
right?
and the CBA is a big partner. And actually, the last conference that we had here in Chicago was 1996, and the CBA was our partner there. The CBA is playing a critical role in partnering with us here.
Right.
And the idea, I mean, one of the great things about the foundations is it brings people together across all racial and sort of social lines.
Right.
And so you get to work with people from all walks of life in the legal profession who all want the same thing.
Right. Right.
Because we all feel very blessed with what we have been able to accomplish, and we want to share it. And that's why it's reaching back, lifting up, reaching back, so that we can actually do that.
And perfectly said. You know, we want the pipeline to continue with its diversity, and I think you're starting really good with starting young. A lot of the programs start really more on the college level, and you're starting the middle school, you know, the younger ages. How do people apply? How do students apply? If they want to be in the program, what's the process that they have to go through, and how do they get in touch?
I mean, they can, we partner with a number of schools, and so that's really our primary connection. We have our website. It's www.jtbf.org. Students can find out information there. We really try to find as many channels as we can to get this information out. We don't want any student to say, I didn't know. And so we put it out there. And if they go to our website, they can keep up with when we have programs, when the application is open. We keep it open for a long time so that they have the opportunity to apply. And if they're interested in this, they should certainly talk to their schools about, hey, get in touch with that organization, partner with them, have them come out, have us go see them, because we will do it.
And we had for the high school program, just in Chicago, we had over 400 students apply. Wow. For the middle school program, we had over 400. We ended up with 83 middle school students who were here last year, both from public, private, charter schools, Catholic schools, and the same thing is true in the high school program. We have over 80 now, just in Chicago, attending the program. That's phenomenal. As people find out more and more, each year the class has grown larger and larger. And we use law students to serve as team leaders. We have a very able staff. Laura Ramsey, Paula Lucas is our executive director, and Dana Horst is our development person. But they have to hire law students, also volunteers. A lot of law firms provide their young lawyers. So for example, one of the things the students have to do is an oral argument. And so a law firm will send young associates who will prep the students and work with them for their oral argument day. And we have an associate board of young lawyers who do work with the students. We're trying to work on a continuum, so if a student gets involved with us in high school, we can help them with the college situation. And then now in this world of Twitter, tweet, and all that, trying to maintain a connection with them so we can help them and move them toward programs that might be helpful at the college level, at the law school level. And so, for example, with the program, we have this partnership with the Judicial Conference of the United States. This is our second year with this summer internship program in the Chambers of Federal Judges. Last year we have 42, this year we have 65 in the Chambers of Federal Judges. So that's a partnership with the U.S. Judicial Conference. I'm particularly proud of that partnership, and we expect that to grow to 100. And these are judges who want well-qualified students, and they hold a spot for Just the Beginning Scholar. And we do prep. They have to do draft memos. We edit it. One of our partners is Minority Legal Education Resources, Inc., and their lawyers are experienced in grading exams and everything. And so they look at these memos, they give them feedback. So when the students get to the chambers of a federal judge, they know what they're doing and they can actually make a contribution. This is a benefit because they get mentors as federal judges. They get real experiences, and of course that helps them. Many of them are 1Ls to get a job for their second year.
Right. Well, not only that, I mean, it's a phenomenal program, but not only that, I mean, when they do it and they graduate, on their resume, it just looks really good.
Yes.
You know, working with a federal judge as a clerk. I don't want to shortchange. I want to go into the conference, the 20th anniversary conference, which is a huge, outstanding conference. Your lineup is incredible. I've seen the agenda. And I know one in particular you're bringing, you know, as a guest. You've got Justice Sotomayor, you know, coming in.
Yes, we do. And that's another partnership with city colleges, which began with the relationship the Chicago Bar Association has. And sitting down with the past chair, Bob Clifford, and Terry Murphy, the executive director, to end all executive directors, who said, you know, Just the Beginning should come to city colleges. These kids need to see the judges. And so in other cities, we typically will go to law schools, and we're indeed going to Northwestern Law School on Thursday. But Friday, we're bringing Justice Sotomayor. The students are going to prepare lunch in the Culinary Institute for all the judges and the conference registrants and our sponsors and guests. And then there will be an intimate conversation with Justice Sotomayor with leaders, student leaders from the various city colleges, where she can talk about her life and the leadership position she's held, how she got there, and to try to share some of that with them. And she'll be interviewed in that session by Judge Ruben Castillo, who is will be the incoming Chief Judge of the Northern District of Illinois. While that's going on, we'll also have interviews going on in the other, for a larger group of students, and we will have other judges that will be interviewed there. So, and then at the end of that session, we'll have another interview with conversation with Justice Sotomayor, with a larger group of 400 or 500 students. So that's very exciting. We also have programming that will start on Friday for CLE credit, again with our partnership with the Chicago Bar Association, and we have some outstanding panelists coming that day. Ron Safer will chair a panel on mentoring what really works. We have Brett Hart from United, Juliet Pryor, General Counsel of U.S. Foods, Jesse Ruiz, and then the second panel, Rick Palmore, Building a Book, Moving Lawyers of Color Along the Pipeline, with Laura Stein, who's GC of Clorox, and Chris Reynolds, GC of Toyota. So we have outstanding people on the lineup. We have all the deans of the law schools coming in on Saturday to deal with the crisis in the pipeline, the challenge for law schools when tuition is so high and debt, skyrocketing tuition, decreasing enrollments. And so it's a very interesting, I think, panel. And program. And LaShonda's we have a youth program as a component.
We do. And so lawyers with children, nieces, nephews, should definitely bring them on Saturday. For the youth program, we actually have 2 tracks that we'll be running. So the youth is really middle school, high school, and then we have programming for law students. The youth will have the opportunity to mediate an exercise that JTBF staff has developed surrounding issues involving the NBA lockout. And so it will be interesting, it will be engaging, and we are really, really excited to have Hank Thomas, who's actually an agent for CAA, who's going to come in and who's going to work with us on this program, and has an amazing story of how he grew up in sort of probably similar circumstances to a lot of the children, and developed and became a lawyer, a successful sports agent. And so the kids will have that, because that's part of our you need practical exercises. You need to see what lawyers do, because that gets them really excited. Then we also have programming for the law students, where they will have esteemed lawyers, judges, partners from large law firms, GCs come and talk to them about what does it take to become a successful lawyer, because law students are concerned.
Right.
How am I going to get a job to pay off all of this debt? And so we want them to also have programming where they have an opportunity to really network with the movers and shakers and the decision makers, and develop sort of, those relationships, start developing those mentoring relationships that can help them as they are embarking on their legal careers. Right. So it will be a morning that is packed full of activities, and we really want students to get involved.
Right. I wish you had this program, back then. Well, I could have gotten involved in it.
We often
it's phenomenal.
We often say, well, if we had this program, where would we be today?
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
I think we channel, so we put so much into it, because we really do think about how much something like this, how beneficial it would have been years ago. But, it's part of our reaching back and lifting up.
Right. And then I do have the list now of the judges. So it's Ruben Castile will have a conversation with Jenny Kendall, Deborah Batts from the Southern District of New York with Gerald Bruce Lee, Denny Chin, who's the second Asian American to serve on a circuit court and the first outside of California.
Right.
And the Ninth Circuit will have his conversation with Vanessa Gilmore, and Johnny Rawlinson will be a judge. She's the fourth African American woman to serve on the circuit court. And then the other panel, we have Sterling Johnson. He was co-chair of the Sentencing Commission of the United States with Judge Roger Gregory. Karen Wells Roby, who's now the president of the Magistrate Judges Association with Judge Edmund Chang. And and Judge Diaz, I think, will be interviewed by Judge Ray Mullins, who's president of the Bankruptcy Judges Association.
Yeah. What an outstanding lineup. Oh, my goodness. That's just a few, right?
Right. We don't have the whole program. No, we don't.
I see also on the program, Judge Williams, that you're giving the Trailblazer Award to President Jimmy Carter. And I think you mentioned earlier he was kind of like the responsible for the Just the Beginning Foundation startup.
It was the title I mentioned. He said that, and so we did invite President Carter. He is unable to join us for the conference, but we were so fortunate. About a month ago, he invited us to come down to the Carter Center in Atlanta.
Oh, how nice! Whoa!
And if you go on the Carter Center website, you can see the clip of that ceremony, which we will be showing at the conference. And President Carter came into the room with tears in his eyes. And we had 3 judges who were Carter appointees.
Wow.
2 from Georgia, Judge Phyllis Kravitz. She was the first woman appointed in the South to the Court of Appeals.
Wow.
We had Nathaniel Jones. He was appointed to the Sixth Circuit. He was a Carter appointee. And Horace Ward, who was on the district court, who was prevented from attending University of Georgia, had to sue, lost in the Supreme Court, had to go out of state to become a lawyer, and he was there. And it was such a moving moment. They were all in tears. It was just extraordinary. And we were so honored that the president would allow us to present him with that award. So yes, it was named after his good work. Right. And then we're also honoring Judge George Layton, who has been honored, and deservedly so, who will be turning 100 in October. Wow. And he's receiving the Trailblazer Legend Award along with Jerry Solovey, who unfortunately passed for a lot of reasons. I mean, we all miss Jerry. It's just a huge loss to the community. And Jerry was very committed to Just the Beginning Foundation and to George Layton. And so we're honoring them as well at the conference.
Yeah, yeah.
And providing scholarships. Every other year, the conference has actually been in 8 cities since it's come back to Chicago. We've actually had 10 conferences. So we give scholarships, and we'll be giving scholarships in the name of the first judge of color in every category. And then the Diversity Scholarship Foundation will be giving the scholarship in honor of Jerry Solovey. We've partnered, again, another partnership. We've partnered with Jessica O'Brien and that organization for putting on the dinner.
Right. You've got a spectacular lineup. The conference schedule is incredible. The speakers that you have are fantastic. How many people do you expect or anticipate? Because I know right now you're already at about 150, 200. That's not having massive publicity yet.
Right. Well, we have now over 80 federal judges from around the country and their guests. And then we have, I don't know, probably another 30 or 40 people have registered for the conference. So I would say probably registered for the conference around 200, 250. And then we offer these CLE courses, CLE classes, thanks to the Chicago Bar Association. The 2 sessions on Friday morning and the 4 sessions on Saturday morning will be available for CLE credit, and we are offering it free. And it does focus on diversity and the pipeline, different aspects of the pipeline, mentoring what works, building a book, one on, I think I mentioned the Dean's panel on the crisis in law school, the global economy, what's the impact? One on retention, because that's an issue for lawyers of color. Being retained in law firms and in corporations.
I wish we could go on and on with the conversation. I should have 2 hours allotted to this program, but we are out of time. Thank you, Judge Williams and Ms. Hunt, for being our special guests today. The work that Just the Beginning Foundation is doing to increase diversity within the legal profession and on the bench is outstanding and much needed. Best wishes to the foundation for its 20th anniversary conference and continued success. I'm Aurora Austriaco. Thank you for watching the Chicago Bar Association's Justice and Law Weekly.